Alright. Now we're going to jump over to the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles. So give me just a moment to bring that up. Make sure it's not already up. Okay, alright, and I need rejection. Okay, because as it was in the day that Yahusha came to this earth, as it was in that day, it's the same today. Okay? They hated his doctrine. They hated what he came here to do, and they hate it today. Alright? So give me just a second. Rejection by the Yahudian. His rejection by the Yahudian. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get this first. Okay, rejection of Yahusha. This is Nazarene Acts of the Apostle, and I have no idea what Roman numeral this is. It says X, so I know that's a 10. I have no idea what L is, and I think the I is a 1. So whatever that is, I don't know. Okay, rejection of Yahusha. But someone may say that it is possible for anyone to imitate a number. But what will we say of the signs and the miracles that he wrought? For Moshe had wrought miracles and cures in Mizraim, Egypt. He also of whom he foretold that he should raise up a Navi, a prophet like unto himself, though he cured every sickness and infirmity among the people, wrought innumerable miracles, and preached the ageless life. The ageless life was hurried by an immoral men to the stake, which deed was, however, by his power turned to good. Okay? In short, while he was suffering, all the world suffered with him, for the sun was darkened, and the mountains were torn asunder, and the graves were opened, and the veil of the temple was rent. And in lamentation for the destruction impending over the place, and yet through the entire world, and yet though the entire world was moved, they themselves are not even moved to the consideration of these so great things. Alright, now the call of the Gentiles. It says call of Goyim, but it's the call of the Gentiles. But inasmuch as it was necessary that the Gentiles should be called into the room of those who remain unbelieving, so that the number might be filled up that had been shown to Abraham, the preaching of the blessed Malkuth of Yahuwah is sent into all the world. On this account worldly spirits are disturbed, who always oppose those who are in quest of liberty, and who make use of the engines of error to destroy Yahuwah's building, while those who press on to the esteem of safety and liberty, being rendered braver by their resistance to these spirits, and by the toil of great struggles against them, attain the crown of safety, not without the palm of victory. Meantime, when he had suffered and darkness had overwhelmed the world from the 6th even to the 9th hour, as soon as the sun shone out again and things were returned to their usual course, even immoral men returned themselves and their former practices, their fear having abated. For some of them, watching the place with all care, when they could not prevent his rising again, said that he was a magician. Others pretended that he was stolen away. Success of the Basora. Nevertheless, the truth everywhere prevailed, for in proof that these things were done by divine power, we who have been very few became in the course of a few days by the help of Yahuwah, far from them they, so that the Kohanim, the priests, at one time were afraid. So the priests at one time were afraid, lest it be that by the providence of Yahuwah, to their confusion, the whole of the people should come over to our faith. So they were afraid that all these people were going to come over to believing in the Messiah and believing in the Most High power and leave off from the hurting of the creation. And that would have made them lose a lot of money, because they were making bank off of the torture and mutilation of the Father's creation. Alright, so hold on. So that the priests at the time were afraid, lest it be by their providence of Yahuwah, to their confusion, the whole of the people should come over to our faith. Therefore they often sent to us and asked us to discourse to them concerning Yahusha, whether he were the prophet whom Moses foretold, who is the ageless Hamashiach. For on this point only does there seem to be any difference between us who believe in Yahusha and the unbelieving Yehudim of the tribe of Judah. But while they often made such requests to us, we sought for a fitting opportunity. A week of years was completed from the passion of Yahusha, and the Kahal, the holy of Yahuwah, that was constituted in Jerusalem, was the most plentiful, multiplied, and grew, being governed with the most righteous ordinances by Jacob, who was ordained in it by Yahuwah. I don't know what that word is. Okay. Hold on. So give me just a second. Alright, hold on. Two comings of the Messiah. I'm going to skip down to chapter LXIX. Okay? I'm sorry. Chapter XLIX. Okay? Two comings of Messiah. So he came once. He came the first time humble and as a sheep. And he allowed them to kill him. Okay? He allowed them to put him to death. He allowed them to murder him. He was not a blood sacrifice, but he had power to stop it. If he wanted to, he could have put a stop to it. It's not like he didn't have the power to put a stop to it. He allowed them to murder him because it had to be fulfilled. Everything that was spoken had to be fulfilled. And so once they murdered him, the temple was torn in two, the earth went dark, and thunderings and lightnings and earthquakes and all of these things, graves were open, this had to happen, okay, for him to send us the Spirit, okay? So his coming, therefore, was predicted by Moshe, who delivered the Torah of Yahuwah to men, but by another also before him, as I have already informed you. His coming, therefore, was predicted by Moshe, who delivered the Torah of Yahuwah to men, but by another also before him, as I have already informed you. He therefore intimidated. Let me make sure. Intimated. Let me make sure his word is right. Intimated. What is that? Intimated. Intimated. Okay. He therefore intimated that he should come, humble indeed in his first coming, but glorious in his second. And the first indeed has been already accomplished, since he has come and taught, and he, the judge of all, has been judged and slain. But at his second coming, he will come to judge and will indeed condemn the immoral, but will take the obedient into a share and association with himself in his Malkuth. Let's see, what is Malkuth? Is that like assembly? And kingdom, okay. Alright, so, but at his second coming, he will come to judge and will indeed condemn the immoral, but will take the obedient into a share and association with himself in his kingdom. Now the faith of his second coming depends upon his first. For the prophet, especially Jacob and Moses, spoke of the first, but some also of the second. But the excellency of prophecy is chiefly shown in this, that the prophet spoke not of things to come according to the sequence of things, otherwise they might seem merely as wise men to have conjectured what the sequence of things pointed out. Okay? His rejection by the Yehudim, by the tribe of Judah. Okay? But what I say is this: it was to be expected that the Hamashiach should be received by the Yehudim, by the tribe of Judah, to whom he came, and that they should believe on him, who was expected for the salvation of the people according to the tradition of the fathers. But that the Goyim, the Gentiles, should be adverse to him, since neither promise nor announcement concerning him had been made to them. And indeed, he had never been made known to them, even by name. Yet the prophet, contrary to the order and sequence of things, said that he should be the expectation of the Gentiles, and not of the Yehudim, not of the tribe of Judah, not of the Israelites. And so it is, for when he came, he was not at all acknowledged by those who seemed to expect him, in consequence of the tradition of their ancestors, whereas those who had heard nothing at all of him both believe that he has come and hope that he is to come. And thus in all things prophecy appears faithful, which said that he was the expectation of the Gentiles. The Yehudim therefore have erred concerning the first coming of Yahuwah, and on this point only there is disagreement between us and them. For they themselves know and expect that the Hamashiach will come, but that he has come already in humility, even he who is called Yahusha, they do not know. And this is a great confirmation of his coming, that all do not believe on him, the only Savior. This is chapter Li. He therefore has Yahuwah appointed in the end of the age, because it was impossible that the evils of men could be removed by any other, provided that the natures of the human race were to remain entire, i.e. the liberty of the will being preserved. This condition, therefore, being the preserved inviolate, he came to invite to his kingdom all righteous ones, and to those who have been desirous to please him. For these he has prepared unspeakable good things, and the heavenly city Jerusalem, which will shine above the brightness of the sun, for the habitation of the holy. But the unrighteous and the immoral, and those who have despised Yahuwah, and have devoted the life given to them to diverse immoralities, and have given to the practice of evil the time that was given them for the work of righteousness, he will hand over to fitting and adequate vengeance. But the rest of the things that will then be done, it is neither in the power of the Malachim, the angels, nor of men to tell or to describe. This only is enough for us to know that Yahuwah will confer upon the good and ageless possession of good things. Okay? Alright, so hold on. Hold on a second. Alright, I'm going to read part of this Kodashim before Messiah's coming. And this is the holy before the Messiah's coming. Alright, and it says, so Clement asks a question. And so it says the Kifa. What is the Kifa? Some of these words are hard for me, man. I'm not sure what these words are, so I gotta look it up. Alright. Still don't really understand. The small green stone used for purpose of divination. Okay. So I really don't know who is responding to him. Because it says the Kifa says. Okay, it says, but you compel me, O Clement, to touch upon things that are unspeakable. But so far it is allowed to declare them, I will not shrink from doing so. Know then that the Hamashiach, who was from the beginning and always was ever present with the obedient, though secretly, through all their generations, especially with those who waited for him, to whom he frequently appeared. But the time was not yet that there should be a resurrection of the bodies that were dissolved. But this seemed rather to be their reward from Yahuwah, that whoever should be found righteous should no longer in the body, or at least as is clearly related in the writings of Torah concerning a certain righteous man, that Yahuwah translated him. In like manner others were dealt with who pleased his will, that being translated to paradise they should be kept for the kingdom. But as to those who have not been able to completely fulfill the rule of righteousness, but have had some remnants of evil in their flesh, their bodies are indeed dissolved, and their spirits are kept in good and blessed abodes, that at the resurrection of the dead, when they will recover their own bodies, purified even by the dissolution, that they may obtain an ageless inheritance in proportion to their good deeds. And therefore blessed are all those who will attain to the kingdom of Hamashiach. For not only will they escape the pains of Gehenna, but will also remain incorruptible, and will be the first to see Yahuwah the Father, and will obtain a rank of honor among the first in the presence of Yahuwah. Wow. Okay, so we're going to go to the chapter L I have no idea what L is in Roman numeral. Okay, animosity of the Yehudim. And the Yehudim was the tribe of Judah. The Yehudi is the tribe of Judah. So there is not the least doubt concerning Hamashiach. And all the unbelieving Yehudim are stirred up with boundless rage against us, fearing lest he against whom they have sinned should be he. And their fear grows all the greater, because they know that as soon as they fixed him on the stake, the whole world showed sympathy with him, and that his body, although they guarded it with strict care, could nowhere be found, and that innumerable multitudes are attaching themselves to his faith, whence they together with the Kohen, the priest of Hagad, I don't know these words, man. I don't know these words. So the priests, basically, the priesthood, were compelled to send us to again and again, and an inquiry might be instituted concerning the truth of his name. And when they were constantly entreating that they might either learn or teach concerning Yahusha, whether he were the Hamashiach, it seemed good to us to go up into the temple and into the presence of all the people to bear witness concerning him, and at the same time charge the Yehudim with many foolish things that they were doing. For the people were now divided into many parties ever since the days of Yehuchanan the drunkard. Alright? Okay. And I think that was all I wanted to get of that. So give me just a second though. Alright. So I wanted to establish how he was received among his own people. Okay. And I believe that we established that. He was received amongst his own people. Okay. So give me a second. Alright. Alright, and now we're going to go to Matthew. Okay. Alright, and then answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and on our children. Then released he Barabbas unto them. And then they're talking about Pilate. Pilate was wicked, by the way. He was not this pacifist, compassionate man that they make him seem like in the so-called Holy Bible, okay? He was bloodthirsty. Alright, so they lying. That's why I ain't read that part. Alright, so I'm just gonna do the responding here that the Israelites, the tribe of Judah, was saying, they answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and on our children. Then released he Barabbas unto them. Then he scourged Yahusha and delivered him to be crucified. And the soldiers of the government took Yahusha into the common hall and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers. And they stripped him and they put him in a scarlet robe. And when they had planted a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand. And they bowed the knee before him, and they mocked him, saying, Hail the King of the Israelites, the King of the tribe of Judah. I'm not going to say that word Jews, because it's blasphemy. Alright? He ain't no Jew. He's an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. There's a difference. Alright? And they spit upon him, and took the reed and smote him in the head. And after that they mocked him, and they took the robe off of him, and they put his own raiment on him, and led him away to crucify him. And they came out and found a man of Cyrene, Simon by the name. Him they compelled to bear his cross. And when they were come unto a place called Golgotha, and is to say a place of a skull, they gave him vinegar to drink mingled with gall. And when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink. And they crucified him, and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet. They parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture they did cast lots. And sitting down they watched him there, and set up over his head his accusation, written, This is Yahusha, the King of the Israelites, the tribe of Judah. Then were there two thieves crucified with him, one on the right hand and another on the left. And they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads. They were shaking their heads at him, and saying, Thou that destroyest the temple and build it in 3 days, save thyself. If thou be the Son of the Most High, come down from the cross. Likewise also the chief priests mocking him with the scribes and the elders said, He saved others, himself he cannot save. If he be the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in the almighty power, let him deliver him now, if he will save him, for he said, I am the Son of the Most High. The thieves also which were crucified with him cast the same in his teeth. Now from the 6th hour there was darkness over all the land unto the 9th hour. Now, we just read that in the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles. Okay? That's a second witness. Alright? And about the 9th hour, Yahusha cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama. I don't know what that word is. That is to say, my power, why hast thou forsaken me? Because I'm sure he felt, like I felt that separation before, and it's not a good feeling. When I was engaging in wickedness, and sexual activity is a big one. When I was engaging in that, though I had, the word deep within me, and I knew the scriptures, and I felt the spirit on me, like when I would read the scriptures and whatnot. But when I would engage in sexual immorality, and I'd be on SL, Second Life, and all of that, engaging with these girls and whatnot, I would feel that separation, and I wouldn't feel his spirit with me if it felt like there was a forsaking. So I'm sure that's how Yahusha felt at that time, like the spirit had left him, but the Father still was pleased with him. But he felt everything that we feel, so he has the mercy. He understands everything that we go through because he experienced it all. He was fully man, he was fully flesh and blood, so he experienced every single thing that we go through. So he can be a merciful and faithful high priest. How else could he be a merciful and faithful high priest if he was not able to go through the same things that we go through? Okay, so he definitely understands. He understands what we go through because he felt it all the same, right? So he says, my power, why hast thou forsaken me? Some of them that stood there when they heard that said, this man calleth for Elias. And straightway one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it on a reed and gave it to him to drink. And the rest said, let it be. Let us see whether Elias will come save him. Now, I think, is Elias Isaiah? Because they be changing these names, man. It really annoys me they do this crap. Because I don't remember a prophet named Elias, but I do remember a prophet named Isaiah. Alright, will come save him. And Yahusha, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in two from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent, and the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose, and came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city, and appeared unto many. Now when the centurion and they that were with him watching Yahusha saw the earthquake and those things that were done, they feared greatly, saying, truly this was the Son of the Most High Power. And many women were there beholding afar off, which followed Yahusha from Galilee, ministering unto him. See, they want to diminish the females in this truth movement. They act like the females ain't got no truth within them, but it was a lot of the females that actually had the ears to hear the Hamashiach, but they hide a lot of that in the scriptures. But they put it right here. All right, and many women were there beholding afar off, which followed Yahusha from Galilee, ministering unto him, among which was Mary Magdalene, and Mary the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of Zebedee's children. And when the evening was come, there came a rich man of Arimathea, named Joseph, who also himself was Yahusha's disciple. He went to Pilate and begged the body of Yahusha. Then Pilate commanded the body to be delivered. Yeah, right. I don't know if I believe that or not, because Pilate was wicked. He probably wanted to eat the dead body thereof. I don't know. And then Joseph had taken the body, he wrapped it in a clean linen cloth, and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had hewn out in a rock. And he rolled a great stone to the door of the sepulchre and departed. And there was Mary Magdalene and the other Mary sitting over against the sepulchre. Now the next day that followed, the day of the preparation, the chief priests and the Pharisees came together unto Pilate, saying, Sir, we remember that the deceiver said, while he was yet alive, after 3 days I will rise again. Command therefore that the scepter be made sure until the 3rd day, lest his disciples come by night and steal him away, and say unto the people, He is risen from the dead, so that the last error shall be worse than the first. Pilate said unto them, Ye have a watch, go your way, make it as sure as you can. So they went and they made the scepter sure, sealing the stone and setting a watch. Okay? So we see these wicked scribes and Pharisees, they hated him. They did not believe in him. And they seriously thought that the disciples were going to try to steal away the body and pretend like, but he really had risen. And the earth did quake, and darkness was upon the earth. Okay, so let's see. Now we're going to go, see, after this, his disciples had the truth, right? His disciples had the truth. They were rooted and grounded in planted by the rivers of living water, okay? All right. So now, let me get this little part right here. Hold on, give me just a second. Section 5. All right. Now, so before he died, this is the confession of the 12 that I'm going to bring up here. Alright. Yahusha answered them. It's going to start at verse 3. Yahusha answered them, saying, Blessed are ye, my 12 who believe, for flesh and blood hath not revealed this unto you, but the Spirit of the Most High Power, which dwelleth within you. I indeed am the way, the truth, and the life, and the truth understandeth all things. All truth is in the Most High Power, and I bear witness unto the truth. I am the true rock, and on this rock do I build my church, and the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it. And out of this rock shall flow rivers of living water, to give life to the peoples of the earth. Ye are my chosen 12. In me, the head and cornerstone, are the 12 foundations of my house builded upon the rock. And on you, in me, shall my church be built, and in truth and in righteousness shall my church be established. And ye shall sit on 12 thrones, and send forth light and truth to all 12 tribes of Israel after the Spirit. And I will be with you even unto the end of the world. But there shall arise after you men of perverse minds, who shall through ignorance or through craft suppress many things which I have spoken unto you, and lay to me things which I never taught, sowing tares among the good wheat which I have given you to sow in the world. Then shall the truth of the Most High Power endure the contradiction of sinners. For thus it has been, and thus it will be. But the time cometh when the things which ye have hidden shall be revealed and made known, and the truth shall make free those which were bound. Okay. just a moment. I'm going to go to Matthew chapter 28. And we're going to read this whole. We're going to read from verse 1 till 20. So we're going to read the whole chapter. Okay. All right. And we'll get this, and then we'll be wrapping it up. Okay. So now we're going to read Matthew chapter 28. Alright. In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Most High descended from heaven, and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it. His countenance was like lightning, and his raiment white as snow. And for fear of him the keepers did shake, and became as dead men. And the angel answered and said unto the women, Fear not ye, for I know that ye seek Yahusha, which was crucified. He is not here, for he is risen, as he said. Come and see the place where the Most High lay. And go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead. And behold, he goeth forth before you into Galilee. There shall ye see him. Lo, I have told you. And they departed quickly from the sepulchre with fear and great joy. They did run to bring his disciples word. And as they all went to tell his disciples, behold, Yahusha met them, saying, All hail. And they came and held him by his feet and worshipped him. And Yahusha said unto them, Be not afraid. Go tell my brethren that they go into Galilee, and that there they shall see me. Now when they were going, behold, some of the watch came into the city, and showed unto the chief priests all the things that were done. And when they were assembled with the elders, and had taken counsel, they gave large money unto the soldiers, saying, Say ye, the disciples came by night, and stole him away while we slept. Oh, wow. They were trying to pay the soldiers. They were giving the soldiers money, telling them to say that his disciples came by night, and stole him away while we slept. Oh my goodness. And if this come to the governor's ears, we will persuade him and secure you. So they took the money and did as they were taught. And this saying is commonly reported among the Israelites unto this day. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, so they're saying that this is commonly reported among the Jews to this day. Oh my gosh. So maybe it's that fake so-called Jews over there that created the state of Israel? Huh. They probably are saying it, blasphemous devils. Then the 11 disciples went away into Galilee, into a mountain where Yahusha had appointed them. And when they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. And Yahusha came and spake unto them, saying, All power is given unto me in heaven and earth. Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Okay. All right, teaching them to observe all things. So we're going to end it right there after Matthew chapter 28. Okay. And this is part 6. So when we come back, we'll be dealing a little bit with the curses. We'll be starting to get into the curses. And oh my God, this thing is hella freaking long. All right, shalom.